welcome back, guys. Dr. Jim Morgenstern coming at you from OptimalFunction.com, one half of the Optimal Function podcast. And now we've reached a portion of our show that's going to deal with the mobility drill of the sciatic nerve area, and more specifically, the piriformis muscle. So what I got here is a dimpled softball. It's a little bit bigger than the common lacrosse ball or tennis ball, and it doesn't have any give, very similar to lacrosse ball. Not that the lacrosse ball is wrong, it's just too small for this area, and a lot of people, it's pretty sensitive, especially if they're in pain. So please scale up from there, but right now the dimpled softballs are a tool of choice. Now, we're gonna put a graphic up that you can kind of see the layout of the musculature around the sciatic nerve and specifically the piriformis muscle. So generally speaking, there's gonna be a couple spots that are pretty tender in the gluteal region, okay? If you were kneeling or standing, you can reach back. You can feel your hip bone here, and if you come back, almost like you made a C with your hand, you can actually grab right into that general region. That would be a good starting spot for the ball. What I'd like you guys to do is get on your hands and knees, similar to like a crab position. And what we're gonna do here is just scan for the first 30 seconds. We're gonna rock back and forth and let that ball sink into some of these tissues. And I could find a few sore spots myself. And I do these daily with a lot of my athletes who come in, and my areas can get, pretty softened up and actually feel pretty good. But man, if there's a couple days that you miss here, this spot can get tightened up because these muscles are used every day, whether you're walking. And sometimes even the problem is when we're sitting or standing all day, they just get tight and they need released. So I found the spot that I'm looking for. Once we do that, guys, I want you to meet me. We're gonna take that same side leg and we're gonna bring it over the other leg. So we're staying strong here. We're staying strong on the wrists. Key point, if the wrists start to bug you, okay, I'd like you guys to change the angle, or if you need to take a break, you can kind of come up onto a very straight wrist, but maybe make a fist. Just, a hexagon dumbbell, something that's not gonna roll on you, you can hold onto those too. And of course, my CrossFitters probably have parallettes they can have closer to the floor, and that might help them. But for right now, what I wanna do is we wanna bring this same side leg open, and what we wanna do is we're gonna sit into a clam position. We're gonna bring the knees up together till they kiss, and then we're gonna go ahead and let this leg drop right back down. From a different angle, we're gonna bring the knees up, hold, let that ball sink in there, and we're gonna bring it right back down. Get a couple reps in, and then we wanna include the breath. When you include the breath, muscles that are tight will start to release a lot faster. So if you're ready, big breath in for 4, we'll hold for 4, and then we're gonna exhale for 8. We're gonna let that ball sink in there. Ready? Big breath in, bring the knees together, hold, kind of push back into that ball, and then as we exhale for 8, we're gonna let the knee drop. Shake it off, shake it off. Repeat, big breath in for 4, hold, and exhale for 8. One more time from a different view. Breath in, hold, and out for 8. Shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. These drills are done for 2 minutes. When we did the postural drill earlier, typically those are done in 60 seconds. It's not wrong to do it longer than that, but that way you can break it out throughout the day. When we're releasing muscles, a lot of times they need a little bit longer time under pressure. So please choose an area that's bothering you and do it for the full 2 minutes. That way you guys can get at least to see the maximal benefits. Now I will say there are some folks who are working on minute 2, pushing minute 3, maybe minute 4, and they still feel like they're getting the benefit of that. That's your call. I just wanna make sure that you guys don't get too sore tomorrow. I want you to continue to do these things and gain some momentum, okay? Because there's an old saying that goes, long-term consistency outshines short-term intensity. What that means is I want you guys to get little doses throughout the week and the month to really see the maximal benefits. Don't just go really hard on one day a week. You're not gonna see nearly the same. Think of it like working out. You're not just gonna work out one time a month and look for those benefits, or eat healthy one time a month and get those benefits of looking good. You wanna make sure that when it comes to mobility work, we're staying consistent with it. Okay, the next portion of this is adding a stretch for that same area. Some people love mobility drills, I do, and then some people can really appreciate adding a stretch in, maybe let's say post-workout. I'm personally not a big fan of stretching before the workout. I like to do a dynamic warm-up before my workouts, but as far as cooling the muscles down, I will spend some time with these tighter structures, stretching them, but after I've used the softball. So remember, in my world, I like to do a little bit of more like deep tissue releasing with a tool like a softball, and then we can kind of lay into this following stretch. So a couple options here. We want to try to get into what's kind of called like pigeon position. What we're doing is we're bringing the hip into external rotation, the knee is bent, the foot is either up and out for those of you who are looking for more of a stretch, or the ankle is pulled in towards the groin. Big tall chest, and we're gonna work ourselves down and towards that area. I have something that I think you guys should know too. If you do that ball right there, sometimes when you come back to try to do the stretch, there's not much left over to stretch. Like right now, I don't feel anything. I could go all the way to the ground and I feel like my left hip is completely open. So for the sake of the video, I'll show you how to set this up. But if you keep up with some of the more mobility stuff, you may find that it doesn't need stretch at all. It needed more pressure on it. So obviously each person's gonna feel differently here. From a different angle, I've got the hip here at 90, and then that knee is coming straight down from the chest. Breath in, try to find some tension in the muscle we're looking for, and then exhale fully to the ground, okay? If you guys can do that, great. If you can't, we can include something against the wall. It's gonna be the figure 4 stretch, but I like to use the wall so that we don't cheat. So we can bring this off leg up and using that as some leverage here, okay? And we're gonna bring the same leg that we've been trying to stretch up and over, figure 4. And what we can do here is kind of come up, and then as we sink down, that actually gives a really, really great stretch. But see, I didn't feel that when I was doing the face down stretch that we just did a second ago. I'm getting a lot out of this right here, so let's go and enjoy that. So big breath in for 4, we'll hold for 4, out for 8. Breath in, hold, and exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rinse, repeat, and we'll do those again for 2 minutes. Okay, the last little piece when it comes to doing mobility work, I really feel like it helps if we can turn on some of the muscles that we worked on, okay? What I mean by that is we're not just like turning them on like a light switch. The brain likes to talk to the body, and that's sometimes important right after we do something kind of stressful like a mobility drill. You have to think about it. As you're doing the mobility drill, if you're working on muscles that are really tight and really tender and painful, sometimes we hold our breath. That is a natural response that our body is trying to like deal with the stress that's coming. So as we add that 4-4-8 breathing, that helps unlock the body's stress and it doesn't let it feel like it needs to keep tightening up. So we always want to include the breath. With that same thing being said, is we want to try to let the brain talk to the muscles that we just worked on and try to hold the body in a better position. You'll see what I mean here in a second. So if we work on the glutes, we want to try to do something that kind of isolates those. And I think a hip bridge or a glute bridge does really, really well with that. You don't need any weight here. Of course you can add, but I'm looking for us to do a body weight version of this and just hold it for 30 to 60 seconds. I'll show you. We'll get on our back here, okay? And what we're gonna do is make sure that the pelvis is once again neutral. Very similar to what we talked about in the postural drill when we were doing the heels, butt, shoulder, head. I don't want to see a big arch here, okay? So I shouldn't be able to reach under my back and find an arch. And then again, I don't want to be too pelvic tucked the wrong direction where I'm actually rounding. So we're gonna find kind of a happy medium. And then what we're gonna do is just simply press up from there. Press through your heels, come on up. And then if you need to, just to kind of get a feel for it, feel your glutes, feel your hamstrings, make sure everything feels nice and neutral, and then the timer starts. We're gonna do an isometric hold for 30 to 60 seconds, looking to kind of let the breath work with this so the brain can talk to the body. So once again, 4-4-8, big breath in, hold, and exhale for 8. Repeat, repeat for that full duration of time. As you get better, you can add weight, and as you get better, you can do it for a little bit longer. Okay, I think that gives you some stuff to work on, a mobility drill, a stretch drill, and then something for a muscle reactivation drill. Put it all together, it shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes, and then you can reap the benefits of that throughout the week. As always, leave comments below. We really appreciate you guys following along. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great day. Dr. Jim signing off, optimalfunction.com. See you guys.